have a gentleman here to clarify all that today and to cut through the social media mush. And that would be Mr. Greg Scott. A little bit about Greg. I said he is a chamber board member. He is a business success story in this area. One of those that came in, got overly involved, volunteered, was seen everywhere, and built his business through his efforts. And the pandemic for everybody was a challenge. There are some businesses that looked at that as an opportunity. And oddly enough, Greg is our one of our tech directors on our chamber board. And he was hard to catch last year because he was fairly busy and trying to get everybody out on social media. So Greg, I appreciate you coming today and taking some time to help us sort through it. And I will yield the floor to you. Greg Scott, everybody.
Thanks, Mike, Tina, Rhonda. I appreciate it. Yeah, last year, I don't know if it was a dream or if it was a nightmare or both, but anyways, moving on, right? So yes, last year was a bit of a challenge, and a lot of businesses had to, Tina, close your ears, pivot, or just find new ways to get in front of whoever was out and was able to buy. So luckily, we've all been blessed by the internet and the ability to connect and stay connected and continue to network from the space of our own home or office or car or wherever you choose to hang out. So yes, I'm Greg Scott with Great Scott Sites. I get it. The name is a little confusing. But if Doc Brown from Back to the Future popped in your head while thinking of my name, I must be doing something right. So I am a child of the 80s, and I love nostalgia, and I love the 80s. I don't wish to go back, but here we are. So I've been developing websites and running social media marketing campaigns for over 10 years now. Before doing it on my own, I worked at Frito-Lay headquarters up in Plano, practically Frisco. So that's where I did a lot of cutting my teeth, but and it was well worth it. If you worked at corporate, then you know that sometimes the creative and corporate don't mix. That's why they hire out creative. So here I am. Social media marketing. I do have a lot of slides. I'm not going to apologize because there's a ton of content. I could talk on this for hours. I'm going to try and go fast over some of the things because I think before my focus was the importance of social media, but now we all know how important social media is for your business and for marketing your business. And I should say, I'm going to move this chat out of the way. If any point during the time, during this presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. It's likely I'll probably cover them, but I do want to make sure I can. And I will probably be pushing the limits of my time limit. So if I can't get to your question, feel free to holler at me afterwards. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Social media marketing. Some people say it's still new, and compared to traditional marketing, it is. And unfortunately, it's still evolving, right? I mean, the algorithms change, you hear this, you hear that, people are getting kicked off for multiple reasons. But the point is, it's still new and it's still changing. And yes, it is tough to keep on top of it. I get it. I work with it every day for myself and for my clients and personally. I mean, my wife shares plenty of photos of all three of our boys at all times doing all sorts of weird things. Please don't follow me personally. Just kidding, you can. So I'm going to break down as much as I can in little time that I have to see if we can help kind of ease some of these, some of the confusion, some of the overwhelmingness that comes with social media marketing. What is social media marketing? Simply put, it's the use of a social media platform or a website to promote a product or service. While it sounds straightforward, right? You can condense it to one single sentence, but it's it's a lot more robust than that, correct? If you jump on social media, being brand new to, as a business being brand new, jumping on to promote your products and services, you're likely not going to catch very much traction. That's just how it goes. You've got to establish yourself as trustworthy, credible, and you got to start that relationship. Believe it or not, I mean, even with tons of people you don't even know, because people don't buy from people they don't know, right? Slow and steady wins the race. You know the classic story of the rabbit and the hare. Nope. Rabbit and the tortoise. You get it. So that's what social media marketing is. What it is not, what it ain't. It is not a magic pill. You won't be able to post something, go to bed and wake up rich. I don't know who thinks like that. I don't know any of those people, Lon. I'm just kidding, Lon doesn't think like that. But the point is, again, slow and steady wins the race. Constant creation of content, staying on top of content, staying on top of the networks, the platforms themselves, and engaging with your audience. And social media marketing is tough, but that's what I'm here to help try and ease some of that pain, if you will, and not with a pill. The thing with social media marketing is you want it to be subtle, right? If you're posting coupons like you get in the value packs or the ad mailers or whatever they're called, no one's going to read that. Number one, it's too much to read. No one really cares to read all that fine print when it comes to coupons and things along those lines. So you want to treat your brand like a content creator. That's why you see a lot of businesses sharing stories, sharing recipes, sharing testimonials and clients, customers, patients that have gone from point A to point B, which is typically better for them. So social media marketing has evolved into something that's much more modern and more interesting, because you have so much, you have the ability to say so much. Why social media marketing? I know we know why, but who here has a smartphone? Everybody. Yep, I'm seeing everybody's hands. Everybody, every single person. These things were created, I mean, I have one. These things were created to take phone calls, but what do? We don't really talk on them, right? We're too busy, texting, going through apps, scrolling social media, sharing things. I mean, even my Meemaw is on Facebook, and she's like, I'm not going to say her age because I want to wake up alive tomorrow. But anyways, the point is, everyone is on social media now, and even more since last year, because people got so bored of having to sit in their homes. Who remembers this movie and the famous line from this movie? All together now. If you build it, they will come. Right? So a lot of the times for your businesses, you're trying to drive traffic to your websites, because driving traffic to your websites is going to convert into sales. And building a website nowadays is not going to just bring the audience. You have to get in front of them. All there are other ways to drive them to that website, so that you can build trust, you can build credibility, and you can hopefully convert into a sale. So, which social media marketing platforms do you use? Well, the short answer is Facebook. The little bit longer answer is whichever platform or platforms your target audience is on. And the little bit longer answer is all of the above, and whatever you or your team or an employee or someone that you can hire can manage. Because now there's tons of social media marketing platforms, and it would be great to be on all of them, but there's just no way. There's no time. There's probably don't have enough people at your business, especially if you're solopreneur, to handle all of them. So I always say, start at the top and work your way down. And I realize this slide is extremely hard to read. I tried to find a good one, but this is just the way it goes. Facebook is number one. As of October 2020, Facebook has 2.7 billion with a B users. Granted, that's worldwide, but still the case. They are the most and continue to be the most popular platform out there. So it's a great place to start. Most of you are probably already on it. Great. We're going to continue to run down this path of how to manage it. Also on here, you can see YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, which oddly enough are owned by Facebook. WeChat, Instagram, also owned by Facebook. TikTok, the new player to the game that is causing a ruckus. Some of these other ones are actually, we don't even, I think those are based in China. Snapchat, Pinterest, and Twitter. Look at there, Twitter's all the way at the bottom. Remember Twitter being so hot, so big, probably a decade ago. Their growth has been extremely minimal. So again, Facebook, number one, that's where we're starting. That's what we're going to continue working on. But keep in mind, when it comes to social media marketing, your message or content, it's going to be the same across all platforms. It's just, how are you interacting with that platform? How are you using that platform? Because they're all different, right? TikTok is based on, lip syncing videos. And I haven't seen Michael on TikTok yet, but I'm pretty sure he is. So if someone could help me find his handle, that would be awesome. Anyways, so they're all different, right? Instagram is strictly creative focus. So it's, a photo or a video is what drives the content, and you actually cannot post without it. Whereas Facebook is like free reign. It's the Wild West. You can post whatever, however, to an extent, as long as your post is going up. So as I said, as of October 2020, there were 2.7 billion monthly active users worldwide. But that's not very fun because we're stuck here in Texas. Stuck might be a bad word. Blessed to be in Texas. So as of, let's see here, at the beginning of 2021, there are 331 million people in the US. It's 331 million in the US. At the same thing, at the beginning of 2021, there are actually 190 million Facebook users in the US. That's 57% of the US population is on Facebook. That's a lot of people to be on a single platform. That's not the internet. The internet's going to be like way higher than that. But 57% of people, in the US are on Facebook. Briefly, I've had this question come up very often, so I wanted to address it a little bit more up front. Whenever it comes to your social media marketing for Facebook, you've got a personal account and you've got a business account. You have to have a personal account tied to a business account so that you can run it. A business account cannot run on its own. It can't just float around all willy-nilly and get abandoned. You have to have a personal account. Now, whether it's a dummy account, that's totally up to you, but it does have to be run by a personal profile. And so they work differently, right? So if I'm sharing things on my personal page, only my friends and whoever my Facebook friends are going to see them. Whenever I share things on my business page, only those that follow my business page are going to see that content. So another super boring slide, a little marketing terminology before I get a little further down, so that way I can answer some questions before they pop up. Content. Content is anything you post, anything you create and post, like a photo, image, video, ad, a link, or even text, just simple text, again, depending on the platform. Engagement. Engagement is post likes, page likes, reactions, which for Facebook is the like, the love, the care, the angry face, which I see Michael posting a lot. Just kidding. The wow face and the sad face, and shares as well, and comments. Reach. Reach is the number of people that have seen your content. Impressions is a number of times your content was displayed on a person's screen. So the difference between these two is that reach is people, impressions is views. So if I see a piece of content 2 times, the reach is 1, the impressions is 2. Frequency, number of times a person saw that single piece of content, just same as that's pretty much the number between reach and impressions. And that number is important, right? Because if you're following the rule, the marketing rule of 7 or the marketing rule of 13, depending on who you ask, no one buys from you the first time they see your content. No one buys from you the first time you shake their hand, right? You've got to build that relationship. You've got to build credibility. You've got to build trust. CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions. This will be important a little bit later on. Organic is a number of people who had unpaid content from your page enter their screen. I know that sounds a silly way of saying that, but organic could mean if a follower sees your content that you post, that's organic. Now, if one of your followers shares your content and one of their friends sees your content, that is still considered organic. Whenever we get into paid, whenever we get into ads, that's where that's the opposite, right? You've got organic and you've got ads, basically, whether it's sponsored, boosted, post, ads, whatever. It's just those are the 2 avenues we run along. Landing page, specifically designed web page that steers users in the exact direction you want them to take. So a lot of the times, whenever you're creating ads, you want to send your user to a landing page. You really don't want to send them to a home page, because your home page has so much information about you and your business. And if they're coming to your website to hopefully buy, you don't want to get them distracted by viewing all this other stuff on your homepage. So a landing page is specifically designed to capture whatever information they need, or for you to display whatever contact information they need to actually contact you, so that you can continue them right down that sales journey. Call to action is a button with a link. That's the action you want them to take. Scarcities, limited availability, something along an expiration date, limited time offer, limited number, excuse me. Okay, so sorry, super boring. Okay, so one of the main things I typically hear 2 questions whenever it comes to talking with people and new clients, small business owners, medium-sized business owners. What do I post? I don't know what to post. I got a business. I'm trying to make money. I've got to work on my business. I got to hire employees. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. What do I post? Let's start with the copywriting. Copywriting is your messaging. All right. So this is something I want to slow down just a little bit, because I want your mind to rotate a little bit on this. Think of your top 2, 3, 4, 5 services. Write them down. All right. So for me, it's, website development, social media marketing. The next thing is to write the benefits of those products or services, or the problems they solve for your potential clients, your potential customers, not the features. So we could bring it down so it's a little bit easier to digest. Copywriting features versus benefits. Features are facts about your products or services. They add credibility and substance to your messaging, but that doesn't really solve their problem, right? The benefits gives a reason for customers to buy your product or services. It explains your product or service and what it does to improve their lives. Simple enough. An umbrella. Features of an umbrella can be, unbreakable design, waterproof material, real wood handle, solid stainless steel, handle. That's all great. But what does it do for the buyer? Well, it protects them from harmful sun rays, from X amount of percent of harmful UV rays. It blocks out the rain. I mean, come on, that's number one, right? So whenever you're writing your messaging, whenever you're writing your copy, that's what you're doing. You're solving a problem of theirs. So something to think about as you're writing down, and don't get me wrong, it's not easy to think about, especially whenever you're chowing down on virtual pizza. I get it, but it's something that that's where you want to start the process, because once you get your messaging down for your individual products or services, that's a foundation for how you move forward, right? So you can always tweak things here and there, but essentially, that's what you're selling. So let's move on to something a little bit more fun. Ice cream. Now, ice cream may or may not solve a problem unless you're trying to fill a sweet tooth. So in this case, the features become a little bit more important because it is a low ticket item and it's, again, not solving a problem. So in this case, if you're selling pizza, if you're selling ice cream, what are those unique components of them that differentiates you from your competitors, or really just something that stands out? It doesn't necessarily have to be something different than your competitors. What is something that helps you stand out? Let's see here. For ice cream, it could be something along the lines of the process is slow churned. Sounds pretty sweet if you ask me, pun intended. Maybe you use premium syrups or ingredients. Maybe it's the freshest ice cream you can get without making it yourself. In turn, it can be the creamiest ice cream you've ever had, right? Now, a little tweak to finding a way of a benefit or something that it solves is maybe it's the perfect date night spot for date night. Maybe it's a treat for a job or a school day well done. My wife likes to take me to the ice cream shop whenever I've had a good day at work. So maybe it's a perfect cheat day for dessert. Those that work out, they don't eat ice cream all day. Most people don't, but whenever you're looking for something to fill that sweet tooth, there you go, perfect cheat day dessert. Or maybe it's something that the customer, the potential client, possibly can't find anywhere else. Okay, now, of all this messaging that you're putting together, granted, I went through some really short examples, but whenever it comes to actually writing out and actually all the content you're actually going to be putting out there, how much should you write? Well, the short answer is don't force long copy. A lot of people aren't long-winded, but some are. And the problem with that whenever it comes to social media marketing is a lot of people, most people, have short attention spans. Those fit about the same as a goldfish, which is roughly about 7 seconds. So as some of you know, if something doesn't catch your attention quickly, you're going to move on, just like goldfish. But I do encourage long form messaging in your content occasionally, because sometimes you can't tell a story, sometimes you can't explain something in short form. It sometimes needs a little bit more, or else it's going to feel kind of left out. Emojis. Everybody loves emojis. They're fun, they're smiley, they're weird. I didn't check to see if I put any weird ones on there. Good, okay. Emojis are great because they help break up your content, right? Going back to the thing about short attention spans, whenever you're writing that copy, if you write a block of text, no one wants to read that. In fact, it looks discouraging. So you want to break out the copywriting, and a good way to do that is spacing and emojis. So granted, if you're writing content from your phone, you've got the emoji keyboard right there. I mean, either on your phone or in the platform. But if you're writing, if you do a lot of work for your computer, like myself, I encourage you to check out emojicopy.com. It's a great way to search for emojis to help tell your story or sell your products, or just have puts a fun little spin on your copy. You're able to search, and you can copy and paste directly into your copy too. So that's directly into your copywriting. I realize I said copy way too many times right there. So for those of you that are playing drinking presentation mode, take a drink. Moving on. Okay, creative. I'm already at 25 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna try and move a little bit quicker. Creative. Photos and videos. I mean, the copywriting is what your messaging is. That's how you tell people your story. But in order to catch their eye, you're going to need something. You're going to need something to catch their eye. Typically, text does not do that. So that's where photos and videos come into play. And granted, a lot of people don't have a really good camera, don't really have a really good DSLR camera. So, your iPhones and Androids take really good photos, but the lighting has to be good. Don't ever use the flash. The flash will just wash you and everything else out, and it won't be worth it. It won't be fun. It'll be cringeworthy. So as you can see here, I've taken a photo with my iPhone. I cropped it and lightened it up and added the logo, and it's ready to post. As you can see, it's lightened up, and I've kind of gave a little bit more focus to the sandwich there. Typically, you want to try and keep a clean background, so that way the focus is whatever your product or service is. And if it's a service, maybe you're displaying a before or after, or maybe you're displaying a happy client or customer after they've used your services, because that's what people want, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's happiness. So, granted, not everybody uses Photoshop. There are a handful of good. Actually, I don't think Canva's free anymore now that I think about it. I haven't used Canva in years, but it's at least very inexpensive. But even, I mean, on my iPhone, the photo editing capabilities are actually pretty good. I mean, you're able to take a photo with your phone and lighten it up, give it a little bit of color, reduce some of the shadow in the shadow of the background, and can really bring your photo up that just a notch to really help it look good and catch the eye of your potential clients. Stock photos. Stock photos they're a slippery slope because they can be tricky and they can be easily spotted. I've seen some really bad ones, and I'm sure a lot of you have too. Stock photos are good. They help break up your content whenever you're creating content. So if you have the ability to use stock photos, to help tell your story, help sell your products or services without having a photo of your product or service that is a stock photo, if that makes sense. So, the cool thing is there are a bunch of royalty-free stock photos out there. So I'm sorry, I did not put that in the actual presentation. I meant to. So if you search royalty-free stock photos, there are a handful of sites that you can spend way more time than you want to looking for stock photos to help tell your message or help tell your story. After you search it, you'll see some of the big ones I've used are Unsplash, Pexels, and Pixabay. Like I said, just search royalty photos and they'll come up pretty quick. And they're all free to use. You just use them, upload them, download them, format them, and upload them to whatever platform you're using. Okay, so now we have our copywriting, we have our creative. That's great. Now, who is all of this content for? So if you've been in business a while, you already have a really good idea of who your audience is. Males, females, age, proximity to your location or just their location in general. But a really cool tool that I use very, very often is actually in Facebook. So if you if you go to your Facebook page, your business page, and if you're on a computer in the left navigation, you'll see Insights. Insights has a lot of great stuff in there, but the one to help show your audience is People. So left navigation, Insights, and People, and you'll get a screen just like this. You'll be able to tell, you'll have a great snapshot of who your audience is. So, because when you're creating your content, whenever you're writing, you want to keep them in mind, because, you know, if you're selling, if you're selling hamburgers, you know, you want to know who your audience is, and you don't want to fall into the hands of a vegetarian when you're writing about hamburgers. Granted, this isn't going to tell you if you're writing to vegetarians, but that's my point, is you want to know who you're writing to so you can hone in what your copywriting looks like. So we have our messaging, we have our content. Now, when's the best time to post? It varies between platforms. Here you'll see Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. For here, we'll mainly focus on Facebook and Instagram. So as you can see, this is per day. So a good post cadence, something to work up to. Let's put it that way. A nice goal is literally almost once a day. For Instagram, it could be 1 to 2 times a day. Because ideally, you want to create a good piece of content, and you want to post it, and you want to let it go. You want to let it go run. You want to let it go get in front of all of your audience and get that engagement. You want to get that in front of them. But if you're posting multiple times throughout the day, that content isn't going to have the reach that it should, because your content will actually start working against each other. Whichever one wins will continue to flourish, and the one that doesn't will just kind of fall off. Now, that might be fun. That might be a fun little experiment to do, but as you'll find out, it'll be a waste of time pretty quick. So a couple of heavy hitters, the best times to post on Facebook. This is actually very, very recent. So, but it's stayed pretty much in line from what I've seen over the past few years. Best days to post: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you think about it, kind of pre-COVID, people are at work. Whenever they get to work on Monday, do they want to be there? No. So they're surfing social, right? On Friday, it's party time. Who's ready to get out? Who's ready to go to happy hour? Michael. People are ready to get out, go out, and they're surfing. They're ready to be done with the week. So times. I typically find that, just like this suggests, between 10 and 11 a.m. because posting before people go to lunch, you'll notice a lot of people start surfing social during lunchtime, and either right before they get off work, or after they do, or shortly after they get off, once they get to the house. So 10, 11, 1 to 2, around 3 is good, because for Facebook and Instagram, those posts will actually live, at least 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours. So if you're posting something, you want to catch the peak time, so that way your engagement goes up. So that way it tells the algorithm this is a good piece of content, and to keep it going. So if you're posting at midnight, that content's just going to sit real idle until people start picking it up. But the algorithm's going to say, well, you posted this 10 hours ago and it's not really doing anything, so we're just going to kind of let it fall off to the wayside. Instagram. As you can see, Instagram is almost identical. I'm sorry, I didn't talk about the worst day, Sunday. I mean, unless you're a monster truck rally, Sunday, it ain't going to work for you on social. All right. So you can post, people surf this, the engagement. The engagement is low across all my clients. Sundays just don't get a lot of engagement. So we've created content. We know who we're writing to. We know when to create it. We know when to post it. How do we post it? So if you're a night owl, like a lot of people are, You're creating content, you know, after you're done with the day, after you fed the kids, after you put the kids to bed, and you're like, I need to work on my social content. It's at the top of my to-do list. Now it's at the bottom. The Facebook Creator Studio is your perfect tool. You can create this content. I'm sorry, you can you can upload this content to the Facebook Creator Studio, and you can schedule it. It's free. It's, you know, it's free to use. You just search for Facebook Creator Studio. If it's in the left-hand side of your business Facebook business page. I forget what it's labeled in there. It might not be Creator Studio, but you can create all your content in there, and you can create it and schedule it for those times we've just talked about, for I think up to 6 months. So if you've created a ton of content, you can schedule it for months on end. I typically do about 2 to 4 weeks out, and it works out great. Now, granted, this is for a computer. So if you're on your phone a lot, the Facebook Business Suite app recently went through an update probably a few months ago, and has become a lot more robust, and I should say that it includes Instagram as well. So whenever you're creating and scheduling this content, it's for Facebook and for Instagram, so long as you have an Instagram page that is connected to your Facebook page. That's a whole nother story. But it's something you have to do in order to use these tools. Piece of cake. It just takes a little time. So I highly recommend the Business Suite app, because you're able to, it does everything. You can create, you can save, you can save as draft, excuse me. You can schedule, and you can schedule between the two platforms, and you can engage with your audience. You can engage with the posts as they come through. I mean, you get notifications, you know, almost instantaneously. So if you've got a lot of content going, and you're not in front of your computer, that app is super helpful. And again, everybody has a smartphone, and that's what we're on all the time, so it only makes sense to use it. I realize I'm already at 36 minutes, so thank you for those that have stuck around. We're getting to the nitty-gritty. So Facebook is free advertising, right? It's totally free, right? All I got to do is use it. It is free, and it is a great tool. However, over time, I won't talk about any reasons, because I don't know for sure. But whenever you're posting your content, unfortunately, on average, you're only reaching about 10% of your followers. That's if you have less than 1,000 followers, that percentage is going to be higher. So if you have less than 1,000 followers and you're posting content, you could be reaching a couple of hundred, maybe a few hundred, 3, 4, maybe 500 standard. Of course, when things start getting a ton of engagement, that reach goes up. So if you get above 1,000 followers, that 10% starts going down. And it is what it is. We just work with it, because that's what we do. So whenever we're posting, and we start to notice that we're only getting the traction of our followers, that's where boosted posts and ads come into play. So the boosted posts are different than ads, and it's different than organic. So you've got organic, boosted posts, and ads. While boosted posts and ads help you reach an audience that is outside of your followers, they are a little bit different, but that is different than organic. So if you're posting organically to your pages, it's only reaching your followers and a smaller percentage of those followers. Just how it is. Don't shoot me, don't shoot the messenger. But the good thing is, boosted posts have evolved exponentially over the past couple of years. If you had asked me a few years ago about boosted posts, I'd tell you don't waste your time, because you had no filtering, you had no parameters that you could select to reach your potential audience, your potential target audience, right? So if you want to reach, if you've posted something and it's not getting a lot of traction, it's not getting a lot of engagement, I suggest boosting that post. So if you're if you're a pizza restaurant and you want to reach more people that are interested in buying pizza, you can boost this post by clicking on the little boost at the bottom. Sorry. Oh, yeah, there, that little boost button at the bottom on Facebook. And I think on Instagram, it says promote. It's essentially the same thing. Clicking on that will allow you to select males and females, ages 18 and up, or you can do, 21 and up if you sell alcohol. And you can even target interests of people that like pizza, like other pizza restaurants, or even just like Italian food. And then you can boost that post for however many dollars you wish, for however many days you wish, and for in whatever location you wish. So essentially, you could target a 5 or 6 mile radius of your office or restaurant. If we're talking pizza, Gino, you could target a 5 to 6 mile radius of your location of ages 18 and up, who like pizza, like Italian food, and you could do that for $5 a day for 3 or 4 days and spend 15 or 20 bucks. Submit it and just let it ride. And for the next 3 to 4 days, you've got this post is now reaching people outside of your followers. So though your followers have already seen this content, now you're reaching people that are outside of your followers. You're reaching a target audience, a potential audience. So how do you know what a boosted post or an ad looks like? Here's Chipotle. I love Chipotle. And as you can see right there underneath their name, it says sponsored. So for me, I don't know if that's a boosted post or an ad, but essentially it doesn't matter because it's getting in front of me, which at the time I was not following Chipotle. Now I am. So, God, we're already at 40 minutes. Okay. Again, thank you for those that are stuck around. I'm going to try and run through a few more of these and we'll be done we'll be done. Again, I told you I could talk for hours on this. Okay. So again, like I said earlier, after you boost your post, you're reaching an audience that's outside of your followers. So what does that give you? It gives you new brand awareness for those that may or may not know who you are or definitely don't follow you. It enables you to see how your content's doing. So if you boost this content and it gets a lot of engagement, then you know that the content is pretty good. You know that you're on the right track when it comes to creating content. If you boost it and the engagement is low, then you know that your audience doesn't really care for that content. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. How do you know what a good piece of content is? You let the market tell you. I've spent plenty of time creating content. I've spent 30, 45 minutes creating a great piece of content. I post it and it falls flat. And I come to terms. I've come to terms with that. But really the best way to know is to get in front of your audience. So if you, as you can see, this post had just been posted, it's only reached 7 people. But if a day or two has gone by and that number is only a couple hundred, a few hundred, boost that post and try to reach around close to 1,000 people. And then reaching 1,000 people will really give you an idea of how they view your content, if it's something that they like or not. So the final thing that's really cool about boosting posts is it enables you to again reach outside your audience. But after you start getting some likes, you start getting some comments and shares and so on, you can click on the likes that are just underneath the post. Once you accumulated some there, you can click on it and you can scroll down and you can see those that follow you and those that don't. Those that don't have the ability of an invite button. So here's a great way to increase your audience. Increase your followers. Now, whether they accept that is completely on them, but most of the time it comes through. And as you'll see here, there's a follow button. That's just someone has their privacy settings pretty tight. Okay, so we've covered boosted post ads. Now the ads platform is pretty robust. I'm not gonna go through it at all. In fact, I'm just gonna tell you that it's there and it's worth looking into. Facebook has tons of literature on it, so that they'll walk you through it. There's lots of pop-ups and everything. But in order to get to that, you do need to create an account with the Facebook Business Manager. It's free, and it just links up to your your business page. But again, it's a completely separate platform because it's so much more robust and has so much more information. To get to it, business.facebook.com. Easy peasy. Of course, you can search business for Facebook, the Facebook ads, and it'll pop up pretty quick. So yeah, I certainly encourage you to check it out if you have not. Okay, ramping down. For those of you that stuck around for 45 minutes, you're doing awesome. I'm gonna check the chat, make sure Michael hasn't kicked me off. No? Okay. Okay, so lastly, I've got a few tips, just some best practice, I would say, of creating content, because I've been creating content for too long, almost a decade. So some of the things I've seen over time that I think will be extremely helpful, and forgive my super bland, boring slides, and forgive me for those that probably can't read it very well. Here's some tips for creating content. Whether it's organic content that goes to your organic audience, or it's ads, it's still the same concept, because an ad versus organic content is really just getting in front of outside of your followers. So you really only have 2 to 3 seconds to capture attention. I know we have the attention span of 7 seconds, but if you haven't captured the attention in 2 to 3 seconds with some really nice creative, whether it's a photo, video, I mean, even a GIF in Facebook, but not on Instagram, you've got 2 to 3 seconds to capture that attention. So whenever it comes to videos, I highly recommend whatever your opening sequence is, you want it to be impactful. If it's a slideshow, try and get 2 slides in before that 3 seconds is up, because that movement will spark attention. Oh, sorry. Try not to be spammy. Social media is fun. Try not to be a coupon book. And even whatever, I've seen plenty of other businesses outside of Wiley, because Wiley definitely does not do that. They don't do stuff like that. I've seen other businesses post their coupons and stuff that they have have used with those ad mailers and stuff. While they might be a great deal, it's incredibly hard to read, especially when you're on your smartphone, right? It's too small. And if it's too small, they're going to move right on. Be mindful of organic post times. That's key. I mean, rarely do I post in the moment, because I'm typically doing something else between 10 and 11 or 1 to 3 on the day, on those powerful days. So scheduling is super helpful. The stock photos. I know we talked about stock photos. They're great to use, but also, like I said, kind of want to take it easy on them, because they can look artificial, and people can pick up on that pretty quick. If you're working with another business, which I've seen this a lot, and I think it's great. Anytime I work with another business in any way, be sure and tag them, and be sure that they tag you, and feel free to use the same content between your pages, because essentially it's going to be the same message. There's no sense in recreating that. One thing I've seen that it doesn't look pretty, and it does not get any traction, is resharing previous content. So say I created a piece of content last week and I thought it was great, so I want to reshare it today. First off, it on the app, it looks clunky, it doesn't look very fun, and historically the algorithm doesn't cater to it, so it's not going to go very far. It's not going to get any kind of traction. you're way better boosting it. I mean, you can put $5 behind it. You could literally boost things for $1 a day. Not going to get very far, but it's probably going to be better than trying to reshare something or just tweak the content and repost it. Use the same message, but change the photo, or use the same photo, but change the message. Because again, we're just trying to gain people's attention. ABT. I really wanted that to be a C because that'd be so cool, but always be testing. You know, if you think about posting something, do it. It could be great. It could flop. Doesn't matter. Tomorrow's another day. I've had plenty of posts that did well and sat for a few days, and I've had plenty that I posted it and by that afternoon it flopped. So tomorrow's another day, and a new day for new content. Change up your format. Even great posts need a break. Even if you have a ton of really great photography, after a while, people are going to see it and they're going to know it's your brand, but they're going to glaze right over it because they're like, oh, that's that. And it might be something new of yours that you're introducing, but if it looks similar, it's not going to get as much traction. There's plenty of other things you can post. You can post reviews, testimonials, which are essentially the same thing, but can be posted differently. Storefront. I mean, there's so many other options you could do to help break up your content. Post engaging content. Ask questions. You know, do you like this or do you like this? Do you prefer this or do you prefer this? And definitely, when it comes to Facebook, don't waste your time posting just text. It will not get any traction whatsoever. You'll be wasting your time. You're better off taking a photo of the wall behind you, and it getting more traction just the way it is. I don't make the algorithm. The algorithm makes me. The old rule of only 20% of your image can have text on it has changed. It's actually been removed. However, it's been very recent. So, and basically what that means is if you have a text that is, you know, a square, 20% of it can have text on it, whereas the remaining 80% of the photo should be free of text. You know, before this was considered a bit spammy, and they wouldn't even approve your ads. And I should say this is for ads and boosted posts, not organic content. You can post organic content all day with your inspirational quotes and stuff like that, and it'll go just fine. But if you try to boost that stuff, it's not going to get very far. You're not going to have a very good return on your investment, even if it's $10. Speak to your audience's pain points. We've already been through all those. Sorry, I know we're going way over here. Questions to ask yourself when you're creating Facebook content. Is the text too long? Is the text entertaining? Is it surprising? Is it sparking emotion? Is the photo or video striking? Is it good quality? Is the logo visible? And is it at the end if you're on a video? Is the call to action the right place? Don't ask someone to buy at the very top of your messaging. Hey, buy my pizza, and then talk about the pizza. No, you want to talk about the pizza first, Gino, and then at the bottom, ask them to buy the pizza. And you know, of course, is the content interesting to your audience? You'll know pretty quickly if it gets traction or not. And if it doesn't, you can always boost it to try to get that 1,000 people or 1,000 impressions reach or impressions, and from there you'll know how if your content is if your audience approves of your content, I should say. And are we asking too much of the person consuming the content? Whenever you're creating your messaging, don't work in multiple messages, work in one main message. That one piece of content should be singular focused. You don't want to be talking about pizza. Sorry, Napoli's, you're just getting all my pizza references. You don't want to talk about pizza and spaghetti and ravioli. You want to talk about a single thing, because if not, you're going to either the person, again, our 7-second attention span. If we've lost interest, we're going to move on. All right, a quick strategy you can do for creating content and boosting content. This is for if you're tight on budget and you're tight on time. So this would be again, this is a good plan to do. It's certainly worth trying. And we'll have these these slides available afterwards, at least in video form. So don't feel like you need to copy it all down. Create 4 pieces of content. Create 4 pieces of content. One should be educational about your products or services. One should spark an emotion, and one can be entertaining. Memes work in here too. The 4th one is something that's primarily sales focused. Create those 4 pieces of content and then schedule them for your upcoming Monday and the 3 remaining Mondays after that first Monday. Now we're gonna schedule them for whatever optimal time is for Monday, between 10 and 11 or 1 and 3. And then as they post, go to the post and boost them. Boost that post for 7 days at $5 a day. So that way you're getting additional traction and something is always running. Because then once that post is up, it'll be up for a while, but then if you boost it, it'll continue to run for, in this case, 7 days. At the end of the month, you're spending $140 and you're targeting your ideal audience, and you're having content out there all the time. After it's posted, just keep an eye on it, monitor all your posts and ads for engagement daily, and respond. And lastly, I know the moment you've all been waiting for, it's social media. Be social, engage, ask questions. When people start responding, like their comments, react to their comments, ask them additional questions, tell them thank you. I mean, all we're trying to do is get more sales because we're doing what we love, right? So I'll leave you with, there are 110,000 active Facebook users who live in a 5-mile radius of downtown Wiley. How are you getting your business in front of them? Thank you.